So in lesson number 5 under graphic designing using Adobe Photoshop and Paint, we now move on to activity number 4, which is on the selection tool and move tool. So once you open the assignment, there are two images for you to be downloading. So let's download both of them. And say open a new window. And also download the second image. Click on download. Okay, so in your downloads folder, I'll download for this as well. Okay, so in your download folder you should be having two images. Okay, so let me show you what's going to happen. So in the first image you just see a plane in the sky, and in the second image it's a vehicle going on the road. Okay, mountainous area. So what I just want is, I just want this particular plane brought all the way over somewhere over here. Okay, so this plane which is over here has to be brought over to here. So how we can get started is, we can open both images with Paint. Right click, open with Paint, and let's open the other one also with Paint. Open with Paint. Okay, so since I need just this particular plane, what I can do is I can come to select, take the rectangular selection and select the plane only. Okay, so I have selected my plane, and now I'm going to copy it. So I can right click and I can say copy, and I'm going to come over here and I'm going to say paste. So we have paste over here. We can press Ctrl V. We can just click on this paste. So the plane has come over here. I'm just going to adjust it to somewhere over here. Okay, so you can see there is a problem with the background of the plane which has to be adjusted. So to adjust it, I'm going to zoom in and come all the way over to this side, and I'm going to be using the eraser tool, and I'm going to be erasing this area. But as you can see, as I keep erasing, the background is becoming white color, okay, which is a small problem. So you can see, if you zoom out, you can't notice it much, but let me do a little more. Okay, you should be able to notice a difference between this background and this background. There's a slight difference. Okay, so I'm going to undo both those steps, and what I'm going to do this time is, I'm going to take the eyedropper tool and say I want this particular color of the sky. Okay, so I took that particular color of the sky, and now I'm going to take the paintbrush and take a brush which is a bit bigger in size, and I'm going to color this area in that same color. Okay, because when I use the eraser, the background is becoming white. Okay, so it's going to take some time. If you do it in Photoshop, it will be much faster, but let me just complete this as much as I can over here. So we do have something like this. And oh, what's that there? So it's not so easy doing it in Paint, but if you were to use Photoshop, I'll show you a very, very simple tool. It will take you just a few seconds to get it done. Okay, so try your best to, looks horrible. Okay, so a little more editing will have to be done. You know, you have to make the paintbrush smaller. Okay, and then you'll have to maybe do this. It's going to take some time. Okay, so anyway, just try your best, try to get it as clean as possible. Okay, and once you're done with that, do save this as activity 4 dash using Paint. Okay, now I'll just show you how it works in Photoshop. In Photoshop, it's very much more faster. Let me close both of these. So I'm going to go into Photoshop, I'm going to say File, Open, and I'm going to be opening these two images, okay, and say Open. So both images have opened. You can see two tabs over here. This is the first one and this is the second one. So what I'm going to do over here is I'm going to select the plane, okay. So some of y'all might suggest we can crop, okay, you can crop all the way, okay, crop it like this, and once you're okay with it, you can press Enter, okay, and then you can, this is the Move tool, okay, you can take the Move tool and you can just drag this all the way over here. I haven't left my mouse, I'm still clicked on it, and come and drop over here, okay. That is the first method. Second method that you can use is, now I have done so many changes, so I'm going to undo all the changes I did, okay. So I can press Ctrl Z, I can press Ctrl Z, but Ctrl Z is not working. So what I can do is I can come to Window and I can come to History tool. So when I come to History tool, it shows me what I have done so far, and I can go right to the beginning. This is what I wanted, okay. So what I'm going to do right now is, just like how in Paint I selected only the plane, I'm going to use something which we call the Selection tool over here. That's the second tool on over here, okay. So I'm going to right click and I'm going to go for a rectangular shape again, and I'm going to select only the plane, okay. So I have selected the plane, and then I'm going to go back to my Move tool. This is my Move tool. The shortcut key for Move tool is V, okay. So once I've got it, I'm going to click on this and I'm going to move it all the way over here, okay. So now look, my plane has come over here. A quick thing I want you to understand is, if you look over onto this side, you can see layers. So layers are basically the objects that are there on top of this image. So this is my background image, which is a picture of this car and the mountains, and this is layer number one. Layer number one is this particular plane, okay. So remember, if you want to make changes to the plane, make sure you have clicked on the plane layer. If you want to make changes to this background, make sure you have clicked on the background layer, okay. Just keep it in mind. You should always select the correct layer when you're going to make changes, okay. So if you want, you can even give this a suitable name. Just come and double click on this and type here plane, for example, and press Enter, okay. So I am on the plane. Look, for example, if I'm on the background, even if I try to move this, look, this doesn't move, okay. So you have to come onto the plane. Now you can freely move it. So I'm going to keep it over here, okay. So now I'm going to zoom in, Control plus, scroll up. Okay, so I need to get rid of this blue color, and under the eraser tool over here we have the eraser tool. I can start erasing, okay, that's possible, okay. But I'm going to undo this using my History tool. I'm going to go one step back. What I'm going to be using is, I'm going to be using something which we call the Magic Eraser tool. So a Magic Eraser tool will erase the color that I click on. So if I click on blue, all the blue that is there in this image is going to be erased, okay. So that is very much faster than using a Magic Eraser tool. Than using an eraser tool, okay. If I use Magic Eraser, look, I just click on blue, all the blue goes away. There's just a tiny bit of blue over here. I'm going to keep the eraser inside that and erase that. That bit of blue is also gone. So now when you zoom out, it looks quite clear, okay, much better than the image that we did in Paint, okay. In Paint, you'll have to spend much more time trying to get these removed, okay. But in Photoshop, you could do it just in a few seconds. If you want to resize this image, if you want to resize it, looks too big for you, don't worry. Make sure you have selected the correct layer, and then press Ctrl plus T, okay. If you press Ctrl plus T, okay, you can resize the images. So from the corner as always, and while pressing the Shift key, press the Shift key. While pressing Shift key, you can resize the image, okay. If you like, you can keep it over here, okay, up to you, or over here, or over here. Okay, let's keep it somewhere over here, and let's make it even smaller. And once you're done with that, do not forget to press Enter, which means apply. Okay, so now that effect has been applied, okay. Once you're done with that, don't forget to save this as file, save as, you have to save it. So right now it's being saved as a vector image, okay. It's coming as PSD, okay, but it would be useless saving this as a vector image, because already we are having a bitmap image over here. Get my point? This is already a JPEG image, okay. If I come over to here, this is already a JPEG and PNG image. They are already bitmaps. Making them a vector is not going to make any difference, okay. So we might as well save it as a bitmap image, okay. So I'm going to change this to activity 4, and I'm going to say using Photoshop, and I'm going to save it as a JPEG image, okay, and click OK Save. Now I have saved it as a JPEG image. So if I come to my folder, you can see I do have the JPEG image over here. But it is also a good practice when you do anything in Photoshop, okay, especially when there are multiple layers involved. It is also a good practice to save this also as a Photoshop file. Why? Because later on, if you want to make any changes, you can easily open the Photoshop file and move the layers around. Let me show you the difference. So I'm going to save this as a Photoshop file as well. Save as. I'm going to keep this as activity 4 dash using Photoshop. Okay, so I'm going to keep it as a Photoshop file PSD and click on save. Say okay. Now let me close both of these and show the difference to you. So now when I open the JPEG image, if I open it with Photoshop, look what happens. I have only one layer. I cannot move this plane now. Okay, I can't make any changes to this image. It has all got merged and come out as a bitmap graphic. But if I open the Photoshop file, look, I have both the layers which are separated. So then I can freely move this plane wherever I want. Okay, so for example, a designer, when he's submitting it to his client or to his customer, he might give the customer a JPEG image for the customer to view. When the customer says he wants some changes made, then the designer will be opening the Photoshop file and making those changes. Okay, so I do hope you have understood what I just did there. If you have any questions, please do feel free to drop a comment below or to privately message me. Okay, and once you're done with that, you can upload all 3 of these files back into your classroom. So let's come over here, let's go back and say Adobe Create File and come to select files from your device, and you can upload all 3 of these files. Say upload, and once you have uploaded the files, do not forget to click in the turn in button. It should be appearing over here. Okay, once this turn in button appears, please do click that.